Hello, all you lovely people out there. How is everyone doing? I'm Kate Hill and I am here to give you the best unbiased and honest content on property. So stay tuned. So if you have been thinking about your next investment property purchase, you'll probably have a choice between either a house or an apartment. The property you invest in could reflect what is currently available in the market and how much you have budgeted for that particular investment. However, don't forget that the main idea of investing in property is getting the right amount of return for your dollar. A question that I get all the time is, what is the difference between these two property types and is one better than the other? Now, it's a very fair question, so let's unpack the difference. Apartments or units are often an excellent choice for people just starting out investing in property. They're often cheaper than freestanding homes, which are also easier to maintain. So here are some key points that could make an apartment the ideal investment property. Affordability. Apartments are cheaper to buy. When you examine the median apartment price in most cities, they are noticeably lower than other properties. Reduced maintenance. Properties with less maintenance can make ideal property investments because they're an attractive option for tenants. Higher rental yields. The rents that apartments attract can be significantly higher than you might receive for a house based on how much you need to invest from a dollar perspective and when calculated as a percentage. Prime location. Apartments are often commonly located in well sought after locations by some tenants, so the city centres, some tourist areas. You'll note that apartments are usually in an excellent location for services such as public transport, work and entertainment options. So if you only look at the positives, then apartments can seem perfect, right? However, there are some downsides to buying an apartment for an investment. What are these downsides? Apartments often come with a STRATA scheme obligation, or whatever that might be called in your location. You are part of a corporation or some sort of organization that owns the block. You are one of many owners. Now, this can mean that you are not in complete control of maintenance schedules or renovations. In a strata scheme or organization, you usually have one vote for each unit that you own in a complex, and there are many discussions and votes placed on what can happen in that complex. For example, if the owners think that the car park or the driveway needs resurfacing and enough people vote for it, you've got no choice. You need to cover your portion of that cost. And this relationship can make controlling your costs very challenging, especially if there are many other owner-occupiers. So when choosing a unit for an investment, you really need to investigate these extra costs thoroughly before deciding to purchase. There can be a massive repair cost with some of these newer builds. There are strata fees which can really eat into your cash flow year on year. It can be tricky to create a real point of difference between your apartment and others, particularly when there's a big oversupply of lots of other apartments either being built or that are vacant at that particular time, especially during pandemics, let's not forget. So what makes a house a good investment property? Houses are often considered a good option for long-term rentals because an entire family can occupy them for a long period of time. So here are some additional reasons why you might consider a house instead of an apartment. Capital growth. Houses are excellent for capital growth and they often outperform units. Now, this does, of course, depend on the area. If you choose a house with a large amount of land, there is potential to subdivide and perhaps develop. It's family orientated. Houses tend to attract families or people looking for larger spaces with pet owners, and that can widen your potential tenant network and have people staying for a lot longer in your property. The choice of the maintenance schedule, because you are the only owner on that single block of land, you can choose when maintenance and renovations occur and who completes that work. And the same with renovations. You can renovate your house to increase its value, but you might be required to check with the local council, of course, about any of those kind of significant works. Houses generally, from a downside perspective, have a higher price point and they will require a sizable amount of your total investment dollars. However, it is often offset by the potential return through improved value. As the sole owner of the property, you alone are responsible for the maintenance costs, which can get expensive. For example, if the roof is leaking, right, you've got to fix that as soon as possible, and it can be costly and you need to pay for that. So how do you choose between these two property types? Many investors like to specialize in one or the other, but honestly, I think that the best option is to choose the property based on its location and its suitability to you as an investor. And you guessed it, your risk profile. Ideally, you want an investment property that can attract the ideal tenant. Investigating and researching the location you want to buy in can mean the difference between buying an ideal property and buying something that is challenging to find a tenant for. While it is challenging to predict capital growth in specific locations, you really always need to consider infrastructure, economic activity, the expanding population, vacancy rates. So where should you spend your investment dollar? The best option is not to focus primarily on an apartment or a house, but to find a property that most tenants and buyers are looking for in that area. And it has to be, of course, one that you can afford. Choosing a property like this will provide you good capital growth moving forward. I'm going to keep talking to you about all things property, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you are enjoying all the free content, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.